Terry, you got that crazy look in your eye.
Oh, I do have that crazy look in my eye. I'm sorry but I know I shouldn't judge people, but let's be honest, it's fun. It is so much fun to judge people, okay? I'm not going to mention names, but I was just scrolling through social media this morning as I'm getting the show put together, and I see this dude that is just way too overgroomed doing some podcast. And I'm like, come on. First of all, way too many podcasts out there, you fucking dicks. You're oversaturating the fucking market. I want to do a podcast. And then you do it for like 3 shows, and then you're like, this is a lot of work. I'm not going to do it anymore. Ugh, so irritating. Anyway, anywho, I'm scrolling through, and this guy, he's like trying to, first of all, the camera is way too close to his face. I'm just saying you gotta learn to pull back, okay? Less is, well, in a sense, it's zoomed in is terrible, okay? I'm just what I'm getting at. But the dude had no hair out of place. His facial hair was dyed. Come on, dude. We know it's dyed. We do. It's just too much, okay? Not a hair out of place. He had way too much gel in his hair. The dude's in his late 40s, maybe early 50s, and he's just trying to hold on to his youth. And that's what it just looked like. He almost looked like AI in a sense, where it was just like, oh, I'm scared to have any sort of scruff on my face, way too trimmed, way too perfect of lines. Me jealous? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. The fact that I can't grow a full head of hair on top of my head? Maybe. I'm peanut butter and jealous. I'm sorry. But it does irritate me. I'm just saying. Guys, we got a great show. It's just one of those weird things that bugs me, okay? It could be a woman. It could be a guy. It doesn't matter. If I love a person with flaws, okay? I'm just, kind of going to bat for myself. People with flaws, hey, look how great they are. I got a lot of them. I do. Like ladies, when you don't wear makeup, oh, that's usually when you're at your best. I think a lot of times ladies just gussy up for other ladies and not necessarily for the guy. I don't know. Or they're trying to say they're getting all dressed up for their man or their lady, depending which way the door swings. But I think ultimately they're doing it for themselves and their friends, not necessarily their significant other. I'm just saying, I'm coming out guns a-blazing judging people. I didn't realize this is how it's going to go. But anyway, oh boy. Hey, real quick before I jump into the show, I just got this on Twitter from Mr. T. He said, FYI, the boys on the Fan Morning Show were just talking about your broken rib this morning. Should I reply back with, that was a highlight of my career, LOL, or should I say that was a highlight of their career? It'd be a dick move if I said that was a highlight of their career, okay? That was the height of their show. I don't know. I feel like an asshole. I feel like I've been bagging on them too much because I'm disappointed with their product. There, I said it. I just flat out said it. I'll just say it's a highlight of my career. That way it's self-deprecating, and I'm not calling them out for having, lack of ratings. Just saying, things changed when I left. Just saying. Just pointing out the obvious. Hey, what's missing from this equation? Why are the numbers dropping? What could be missing? No idea, guys. No idea. God damn it. I'm gonna get a phone call or an email or a text saying you are an ass. Okay? Or one of you guys do this all the time, whether it's to the Fan Morning Show or to Altitude. You'll go and rat me out for saying stuff. Sometimes it's good. Be like, hey, D-Mac, DeHuff is saying great things about you. Good, good. Thankfully, he hasn't heard the negative things. But you guys go back and tell Stink and Mike somehow through either social media or through their text line, hey, DeHuff's talking shit about you guys again. No wonder you guys suck. Even DeHuff's not on your side anymore. Thanks, guys. Way to go. Real mature. Real mature. I don't know where the fuck this show's going right now. Holy crap. Jesus, started off so innocent with my misplaced anger towards people with well-groomed, facial features. And now it's just rolling downhill. Quick. Let's stop the bleeding. Guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, interact with the show if you can. If you're on Spotify or something like that, and it allows you to comment on each episode, please do so. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It could just be a smiley face. It could be a middle finger. It could be an eggplant emoji. And then we'll all debate, what does that mean? And then I'll take you aside and be like, listen, it means penis. Okay, I'm just telling you, in case you didn't know. If there's ever like old people listening to this, I always wonder, like, are they going, oh my God, today's youth, listen, he's talking about genitalia. Oh my goodness gracious. That's what an emojicon is? Emojicon? Huh? It's a penis, honey. That's what the eggplant. Harold! An eggplant means penis. Huh? What does a peach mean? Peach means bottom. Means the butt. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, it's getting really weird, really off the rails fast. Let's go and jump into some headlines.
Let's go! Let's go! And now, here are the headlines.
What's funny about that is I know for a fact there's a chunk of new listeners listening today because they were interacting with my wife. And they're like, so what does your husband do? And she reluctantly said he has a podcast. And then they're like, what's it called? And she's like, I don't want to tell you. She was ashamed. Oh, God, dear Lord. So finally, they broke it out of her. And she's like, oh, DeHuff Uncensored. They're like, oh, we're going to listen to it on the way to work tomorrow. She's like, oh, God. And then they're like, what is it about? Oh, I swear to God, I'll get into headlines in a second. And they're like, what's it about? And I swear to God, guys, this happens to me too. She is not alone. When somebody says to me, and same thing with her, what does he talk about? And she's like, the weird news stories, plus, some sports stories, but he has a comedic spin on it. Oh, like what type of stories? And then I swear to God, I did the same thing. So, Brandy, don't feel bad. She said, the only thing that popped in her head was, do you know how many people every year get something lodged up their ass? She didn't say ass, up their back end. He talks about that a lot. I'm like, not really, but that's what just stood out. And that's what popped in my head the last time somebody's like, so what are you talking about? There was a guy that got an artillery shell stuck up his back end because he was cleaning his attic. Anyway, sorry. Welcome to the show. It's off the rails, I swear to God. A Frenchman earlier this year discovered a gold treasure worth $800,000 while digging a swimming pool in his backyard. That's freaking awesome. And here's the thing with that is, the government would try to come in. If that happened to me, I'd be like, oh, wow, this is our house, our property. And they're like, well, about that. And I'm sure I'd get fucking bent over a barrel and they take the money. But the reason I brought this up is I saw this article. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. But because he was digging in a swimming pool digging a hole for a swimming pool that was in his garden, right? It reminded me of when I was about 18 years old. My mom calls me. By the way, we're in Broomfield, Colorado. It's raining. My mom calls me. She's crying her eyes out. Mom, what's wrong? It's Missy, honey. Their dog. Their old as shit dog that should have died like 5 years prior. But for some asshole reason, it was still alive. Anyway, she's like, Missy died, honey. She died. I need you to bury her in the backyard. And I'm like, fuck, really? Good. She's like, I asked your brother Christopher, and he said no, he was busy. He's a real son of a bitch. She didn't say that, but she should have, because we could have at least done this together. So anyway, I go over to her house, and like I said, it's raining. I'm in my work clothes because I just got off of work. I don't remember where I was working. I might have been working at Safeway or something like that. But anyway, I go over there. I'm like, where do you want her buried? And there's this like little strip in the back of their old backyard where it was, as far as width goes, it was maybe 3 feet wide at the most. And then then as far as length goes, it went through the entire length of the backyard, which was probably about 30 feet or something like that. But it was a little section for garden, like where you could put either vegetables or flowers and stuff. And she's like, okay, honey, this is what you're gonna, she's in this container and you're gonna bury it. And I'm like, this is like a Rubbermaid, like, what would that be? Like I can't even think. It's just like a box, a plastic box. And I'm like, Tupperware is like what I'm thinking. Because she was a poodle. It was a poodle. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird. So she puts her in there, and she puts a note in there too, in case anybody finds it. So I dig a hole, and I'm like, I don't know if there's any power lines under here. You know, you're supposed to call before you dig. I'm not gonna call Excel Energy and be like, I'm trying to bury a body. Can you guys come out here and mark where the lines are, please? I didn't do that. So I dug deep enough. I dug deep enough. And I put her in there, buried it, covered it back up. My mom said some things, blah, 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 blah. And I left. I go and tell who is now my wife, I tell her about it, and she's like, oh, that's creepy. I hope they never move. I'm like, yeah, good point. At least they know where it's at. Well, then I want to say like 3 months later, my mom and stepdad move. And I just not thinking anything of it. And then, I don't know, somewhere out of the blue, we're like, holy shit, Missy's in the backyard. Somebody, I hope there's no kids that live in that house. And they're going and digging in the backyard. Be like, mommy, let's go digging in the backyard. I'll be out there soon, honey. Go out there, get your construction vehicle, blah, blah, blah things out there and play. And then they go out there. Next thing you know, kids like, mommy, we found a time capsule. The worst time capsule ever. Okay? The fact that I had to bury a dog in a Tupperware container and I buried it hardly under the surface of the dirt. And then my parents move. Okay. Nobody tells anybody that the body is there, the puppy body or the dog body. And then, some little kid or somebody in the backyard trying to do some landscaping goes out there and like, oh shit, it's a time capsule. Can't wait. And then they open it up and they're just hit by the stench of just stanky ass dead dog. And don't worry, there's a letter. Oh my God. Somebody went through therapy because of me. I feel bad about that. That's terrible, terrible fucking time capsule. Holy shit. That would scare the fuck out of me. That's 2 times I've probably scared somebody to death. That time with the dog, because I don't know how you would assume that there's like some trinkets in there. They're all shaking it up. You're like, ooh, sounds like there's something fun in here, kids. Let's all put it on the table and open it up. And then boom, that's the worst Thanksgiving dinner ever. And then the other time was when I was working at the radio station. It was like 4:00 in the morning. I'm in the lobby waiting for the elevator to come up so I could go down to do something. And the lobby is completely dark. And I'm just sitting there leaning up against the front desk. And one of the producers for the old hip hop station is coming up, and he's looking at his phone as the elevator door opens, and he walks out, and I'm like, let's scare him. And I just do the something like that. Guys, I swear to God, this guy was probably in his mid-20s. He almost had a heart attack. Like, he literally clenched his chest, backed up against the wall, and I've never seen somebody so scared in my life. And he just slowly just falls to the ground, and he's just like, hey, hey. Like, he couldn't speak for like 30 seconds. And at first, I was laughing my ass off like a, fucking 2-year-old kid farting in the bathtub type of thing. And I'm like, totally got you. And he's like, ooh, yeah, you got me. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I almost killed the dude. So I stopped scaring people because I don't like that. So anyway, I've done that twice. Almost. I may be wanted for murder for the other thing. I don't know. MaineHealth apologizes for sending death notices to over 500 living people. It's not like somebody's just like, let's just send them out. Their computer system had a glitch, and it sends out all these notices, be like, hey, FYI, your grandpa died today. Oh, shit. Talk about a lawsuit. IT guy's probably like, ugh, I'll fix it. I have to work for once. Guess how the IT guy probably told them to fix the problem. Oh, you're ahead of me already. You're like, did you restart the computer? Did you do Control-Alt-Delete? Did you do that? No? Have you defragged your computer? When's the last time you did that? You're like, oh my God, just admit that you probably fucked up on some code, okay? Jesus. Well, you guys haven't been restarting the computers, have you? No. Oh, look, typing aggressively on the computer. Look, the last time you did it was like 2 weeks ago. It needs to be done every day. Nobody loves me. I just upset some IT people. You're welcome. But let's be honest. Most of you guys are arrogant dicks. You are. Hey, real quick, Brendan Fraser and Rachel, is it Weisz? Are reportedly in talks with the movie executives to reunite for the next installment of the Mummy franchise. Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser. I'm all for it. Man, that guy's career has just bursted back like, the rise of the Phoenix. I love that. Brendan Fraser, everything I've ever heard is a good dude. And the fact that he was so injured and so just disconnected from Hollywood and was going through some serious stuff. The fact that he's had a resurgence is fantastic. I'd definitely watch that movie. I love the Mummy movies are those guilty pleasures. It's on TV. You're like, well, I'll watch the Mummy. Except for the one with The Rock. That one the CGI is so bad on that one. If they do another Mummy, they got to bring back Dwayne Johnson in some capacity and do that character some justice. Don't you think? Because it was so ruined by CGI. I think that they should. I think that would be cool. But yeah, I'm down with it. That's one of those movies like National Treasure. National Treasure with Nicolas Cage is on. I want to watch it. My kids like those movies too. And they're all based on historical facts, okay? Everything I see on TV, it's true. You just can't make movies and make stuff up. That's fake. Can't do that. Guys, we got the mailbag and sports. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump into sports.
Going deep, tight ends and long balls.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
Oh, gross!
It's sports with the Huff.
Boy, again, before we get into sports, when you start thinking about new people listening to the show, like you've been listening for a while probably, and then you start thinking about when new people jump on board and they're like, what is this? And I just, as I play the sports open, and I'm like, ew, yeah, that's a little graphic, don't you think? Oh God. Anyway, hey, you guys tuned in, not me. Jeez, God dang, you guys had the problems, not me. You guys are the ones encouraging this. Fingers pointed directly at you. Rico Dowdle, I think that's how you say his name, was fined $14,000. He plays for the Panthers, right? He did that Key and Peele celebration, where what's his name? Keegan. What, I can't remember his full. He's the 3-name guy. He's funny as shit in everything. Anyway, he plays for the professional football team, the Rhinos, and they do a celebration. Well, that's what Dowdle did, and he's getting fined $14,000. It's a play off of this.
Oh, we got something of a shooting gallery going on.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Boy, that is something. And, wait, we got a flag there. Is that for excessive celebration?
Yeah.
See, and I'm not sure about that call.
I don't know, Bill. That was 3 pumps, and the rule book says you cannot have more than 2.
Oh, my gosh. But look at the kid. He's pleading his case with the ref. Pleading his case.
Yeah, clearly 3 pumps.
3 pumps, as in he was doing, like, hip thrusts. It's so funny. I like the fact that he's being fined $14,000 for this, but he started a GoFundMe, but the money is going towards charity. Like, he's going to pay the fine, but to draw attention to the charity, he's like, oh, let's have some fun with it. I like that he's doing that. Good for him. Good for him. So many times, here's the thing I have a problem with people of power and in influence. I know a lot of people will bag on Mr. Beast, but at least Mr. Beast goes out there and gives back to the community, helps people in need. That's a great individual that has a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of finances. And then he's like, let's go help people. And when I help people, I can make content out of that. So then it can just go back into the machine and we can continue to, 1, make content, and 2, still be able to help other people. It's a beautiful machine that he's created. And I remember back in the day when I worked for the radio station, I got so fucking pissed off. We're in a meeting. We're brainstorming on charities that we could work with and things that we could do. And I said something about, because we had a staff full of all these former football players. And I said, what if we did something where, it was like a charity football thing where, you have receivers, you have offensive linemen, you have all these other things, maybe a quarterback thing, and blah, 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 blah. And whatever it was, the way I presented it, they said, well, what's in it for us? I said, well, you're helping the community. They're like, well, a lot of these guys aren't going to want to do this. I was like, well, you haven't asked them. And 2, you shouldn't ever say what's in it for us. What's in it for us is we're helping the community. Oh, I was so fucking pissed off. They never did anything because it was always like, well, if I ever had the opportunity to go back to that station, that would be a big focus of mine. Is you have all these people, you have all this influence, and you're not doing jack shit to the community with that power. And that drives me fucking nuts. Help people, help kids, help. There's kids that lose their parents and shit like that. And the only time they ever do anything is around Christmas. And that's fine. That's a lot of companies. But you could be doing things during the summer, have a camp that is put together for, limited space. You would have to do limited space for kids to join this camp, let's say a football camp. But, the sponsors, you get sponsors involved, and they're the ones that are helping attract, big name people to help out and help with the catering, helping with the courses and stuff like that. They're fronting the bill, plus you would have to front some of the bill. But the thing that drives me nuts is when you have that ability, you have that platform to help people, and you're only going, well, how does that benefit me? That's just, I hate that shit. That's not what life's about. You have the opportunity to help, so fucking help. Sorry, I'm just taking shots at them today, and I apologize. I shouldn't. It's a new regime over there. They've been there for a bit. I need to stop talking about them. It's like talking about an ex-girlfriend. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Hey, by the way, so good for Rico. I like that he's doing that shit. That's awesome. Let's jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
All right, the mailbag's pretty full. We start off with Shane. Shane said, "What's your best awkward encounter with a fan, if you have any?" The one that stands out is I was getting a physical, and I had just started going to this doctor at the time, and he starts putting together that at the time that I worked with Alfred Williams and Scott Hastings. And he's just chewing my ear off, loves, what those guys are about, good people, and asking me how they are in real life and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, they're good dudes. Then it was just funny because I just remember him saying something about Alfred, and then all of a sudden he's like, all right, drop your pants. Because I was getting a physical. I'm like, oh, I thought we were going to avoid that one, but here we go. Yeah. So that, I guess that's the most awkward encounter. There might be some other ones, but I just can't think of any right now. Zach wrote in, I was reading a Reddit thread and some lady was fired on her first day of work for stealing all the coffee in the break room. Apparently someone told her the company supplied the coffee for the employees. So she took 3 bags of coffee home. What a dumbass. Yeah, no wonder she got fired. You can't take home the free coffee, even though it's for the staff, unless somebody says, somebody of authority says, hey, do you want this? We're never going to use all this, but you're more than welcome to have it. Sure, that's great. But then Zach followed up with, did you ever steal from your work? I admitted this, was it yesterday? The day before, something like that? Food from Safeway when I worked for Safeway. Especially like when I was in the dairy department trying different products. There'd be times where you'd go in the back room, you're doing putbacks is what we used to call them. The groceries for some reason that people didn't buy, whether they were damaged or they didn't have the money or they just decided to put something back because they didn't want it. And then we would go in the back room, figure out if anything was damaged. If it was damaged, it would go in a certain section. If not, then you'd put it back on the shelf type of thing. So what we'd do be like, oh, this is damaged. This is damaged. Oh, darn these customers. They're always... So we would just go in the back and break shit and then eat it. I'm not saying it was right. I'm just telling you what I did. When I worked at Quiznos, tongs. I took these little tongs. I still have them. I still have a pair of tongs that we use. They're little ones that were used for their pepper bar. And, I use those all the time. Like, sometimes you just don't need the big tongs. Sometimes you need little tongs. Just say, never stole money, ever. Never. That shit freaked me out. And for all those things I just said, that's all I'm going to admit to. Okay? That's it. I tweeted this out. Mr. T wrote, my uncle was caught stealing adult diapers from the nursing home he worked at. I had asked him why, but he has not responded back because I want to know why in the hell did your uncle steal diapers, adult diapers? Unless it was like, he's bored. We're like, oh, it'd be funny if I stole some adult diapers. Maybe it's something like that. Mr. T, I'll give your uncle the benefit of the doubt. It was for a joke. Okay. That being said, I believe Deion Sanders is endorsing Depend adult diapers because he went through some shit and might still be going through some shit. Did he have like bladder cancer or something like that? And forgive me for not being in the loop on that one. I don't recall. But as much as you want to make fun of it, it's not like you're using it to go to a Taylor Swift concert, which people were doing for a little bit. Then they realized that those diapers aren't meant to hold a large amount of liquid. They're meant to hold a little bit of liquid for people that dribble, that have weak bladders like that. All these people going to Taylor Swift concerts like a year ago, and they're like, apparently these Deped diapers don't hold that much, and people are just pissing themselves. I don't want to miss anything from Tay-Tay. Anyway, Whitey said Connery stole the executive assistant, an intern stole toilet paper, Cowboy stole all the balls. That's right. I did steal the executive assistant several times, Connery. That's not surprising. Intern stole toilet paper. Cowboy, you stole all the balls. Is that really surprising, Scotty? Because when you look at me, come on, take a gander. Look at me and say, oh, my God, he is all balls. Because I know you're thinking it. I am all balls in these jeans. Holy goodness gracious. Watch out. They gonna burst. You guys. Hey, if you have, there's two things I want you to interact with. And you can either direct message me at DeHuff Podcast on all my social channels, or you can email me, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com. Weird things that bug you, because mine's apparently overgroomed individuals. And also things that either you stole from a workplace or somebody you know stole from a workplace. And send those in. I think that could be a lot of fun. I put it on Facebook. Let me see if anybody responded to that yet, real quick. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I stole back in the day. I mostly worked at food places, so it's not like there was much to do. What was there was? Oh, I do know something. I stole a giant pipe wrench once. It's such a weird thing. I still have it. I use it. This is so weird. It was at a former it was a company called Zuka Juice, which is now owned by Jamba Juice. But me being the most handy of the staff members, anytime that something would break, I would be the one that was asked to fix it. So instead of hiring a plumber to fix the drain, that there was a messed up drain in one of the sinks, they asked if I could do it. I'm like, sure, it's pretty simple. But I don't think I really needed it, but I said I needed to go buy a pipe wrench. So I bought a pipe wrench, and I don't think I really needed it, but I did that. And then they forgot that I had bought it. So I'm like, when I quit, I'm like, I'll just take that. Nobody else is going to use it. It's too good. And I still have it on my workbench. It's up there right now. I wrote a Z on it at the time, so nobody would, take it home. Then what ends up happening? I took it home. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Are you judging me? Better not. Basically, I've stolen only things that are, necessary things: tongs, pipe wrench, food. Not stealing anything terrible. Probably stole some condoms back in the day just so I could blow them up and throw them at people that came over to my apartment back when I was single. Stuff like that. Beer. We did steal beer. Shit. I should stop talking. I stole a lot of stuff, apparently. I'm just lucky I didn't get caught. Then I wouldn't be doing this podcast. It'd be, behind bars in jail, something like that. What are you in for? I stole some Mad Dog. What was it? Was it Mad Dog? The beer? The one with the bulldog on it, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I would do. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. We quickly stopped stealing beer because it was 3-2 beer. And then we found somebody that was just willing to buy us actual beer. Didn't have to pay a charge on it. It was just straight up. Can you go buy this for us? We're going to be responsible at my apartment. Yeah, cool. That's how we did it back in the day. And nobody left the house. Everybody drank. And if you got hammered, you just passed out in my living room. That's the way we did it. Everybody was safe. Next morning, everybody's like, fighting to use the bathroom. Everybody's puking over each other. Stuff like that. Typical stuff. Typical stuff. I will tell you this once. There was this girl. She passed out. And we're like, dude, she's passed out. We need to wake her up. And then we're like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And she wouldn't wake up. And I had a cat at the time. And she had passed out near the litter box. Yes, you see where this is going. And I'm like, you got to wake up. Wait, she's not going to wake up? Quick, somebody grab a turd. We put the turd on, like she had a Hitler mustache, but it was a turd. So then we're like, she can't have a Hitler mustache. So we got a bigger one. And then we gave her, like a wider style turd on her lip. She eventually woke up and she's like, what smells funny? Probably there's shit on your lip. I'm just saying. Good times. Good times. Stupid stuff we did when we were young. I tell you what. Stupid stuff. Nobody got hurt, though, thankfully. Thank you guys for making this the #1 ranked comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. I just got informed this morning that there's another platform. I think it's Million Podcasts. Also has me in the it might be just they're using the same data from FeedSpot, but either way, it's #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado with Million Podcasts and FeedSpot and maybe somewhere else. I don't know. They don't always tell us, but I'm sure there's plenty of other great podcasts out there. But it is a good time to remind you that, hey, if you can, share the podcast with people. If you can, like it, follow it, interact with it. It's really cool. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to consume this show. I know I goofed around a lot. I'll say this about the people I used to work with at the Fan. I love most of you. I do. Some of you I tune in and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? But I could say that with any job. I don't like interacting with any place that I used to work with. It drives me nuts real quick. I have a hard time listening to the radio station that I used to be a part of. It bugs me because I can sit there and pick apart, be like, what the fuck? How did it lose its way so badly? Restaurants, same problem. I go in there and be like, they got a light bulb out in the lobby. Nobody's obviously wiped down tables in forever. Nobody's sweeping under the table. Like shit like that just bugs the crap out of me. And it's funny because I'm sitting there judging, and who knows how actually the way I remember it, I was the best. The way I remember, I was nobody better. But there's a good chance that if I were able to travel back in time to a restaurant that I was working at, I'd be like, oh, this place is a mess. And who's the asshole running cash? And I'd be like, oh, that's me. That's me. No, I knew he was handsome, but oh boy. That was a bad cap. Hold on. Meow. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It was all over the place. Controlled chaos. Wait, what did Sean Payton, head coach of the Denver Broncos, allegedly say about this show?
I mean, it was a little bit of a cluster, you know what?
Yeah. Sean, yeah, I would agree with that. I would. Oh, shit. Hold on, I was looking for something. It's not funny when I have to, look for things. Sean Payton also allegedly said this about this show.
Gosh, your own little internet shows are driving me crazy.
Whoa. It's an internet show, yes, but have some respect when you say it, okay? God, you're so mean. He did not actually say that about my show. I do not need a phone call again from the Denver Broncos saying, please do not allege that our head coach is saying things about you. Okay. That happened a while back, not in regards to this show, but I have received those phone calls. I have. It's fine. I love Sean Payton. I believe in Sean Payton. I believe in the Denver Broncos. Go Broncos. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. Have a fantastic day. Hopefully you smiled a little bit in this episode. If you want to be a sponsor on the show, please reach out, DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on my socials at DeHuffPodcast. Either way, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.